Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. Let me start off with this. As I am doing this video blog, trading doesn't start for about 50 minutes. It's early here on the west coast of the United States. This place looks like a tomb, doesn't it? Anyway, maybe it kind of is in a way. Let's talk about that. The MMRI, as again I am doing this, is now again over 250. It's actually 251 now. If you were to go look over at stock futures, you will see it is not very pretty. Of course, this can change in the next 50 minutes, but if the market were to open right now, they would get walloped pretty damn good. If you recall, I have explained, we have discussed right here for weeks now, this issue with instability in the debt market, actually months. And it doesn't look like a pretty sight to me. Clearly, at least in my view, and I would love to hear from you on this, I am seeing a worsening issue with regard to debt market instability. It's not getting any better now. I have also explained, and again, we discussed it here, that if central banks don't take action now, I mean, not like a week from now, but immediately to foster that illusion of stability in the debt market, if they do not bring global bond yields under control, this whole thing is going to change, but fast. Now, with that said, I've explained again, and you know this is true, that I believe we have the best risk measurement tool in the world to gauge this market. Okay, looking at the drivers of this market, I'm talking about the MMRI. Now, let's just say this here. Okay, first of all, there's never a reason to panic. There's never a reason to go, absolutely crazy and make a bad decision here. But you and I clearly realize that there is a problem here with regard to risk in the market. Global bonds are selling off. And unless action is taken, like I said, immediately, this whole thing is going to change. So with that said, I want you to consider what I'm about to say. It may be time. Now look, we still I don't know how to say this without setting people off, but it may be time for you and I to consider lessening our exposure to the long end of this market. Now, I am not saying this whole thing is about to crash, or this whole thing is about to melt down here. Morgan Stanley yesterday, pretty profound statement that the stock market is in a death zone. Look, they're watching the debt market too. You have to understand, these big investment banks, people like Burry, people like Rickards, they're not focused like lasers on the stock market. Okay, they understand the drivers behind it. No one understands that better than you and I. Now, gauging from what we are seeing here, clearly an issue of stability, or instability, should I say, in the debt market. If this gets out of control, and it could get out of control very rapidly, the market is going to take a very big hit. Again, the big crash, you know this already, is not going to begin nor end in the freaky stock market. It's going to begin and end in the global debt market, which is a ticking time bomb. And you know that because I've been telling you this for over a decade. It's ticking louder and it's ticking faster. For all we know today, honestly, we could watch later on some miracle occur, meaning some big entity out here, or entities, central banks start buying more debt. And, look, I've been saying, and we have discussed here, I don't think they're done. But I must say this. On Thursday, okay, when the MMRI crossed 250, stocks got walloped, okay. Friday, MMRI dropped. Market really couldn't recover. Okay, we did get a gain in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, but even with the MMRI lower, stocks were not happy. The stock market wasn't happy. Now today, as I said, we have the MMRI at 251. Last time I looked at it, I'm going to urge you to keep your eyes on this. Free to you, free to everybody. Link in the description of this video. And we have a situation here where stock futures are down pretty hard. So with that said, we need to raise our awareness, we need to consider, I'm not saying to even do this right now, okay? Consider lessening our exposure to the long end of the market. I mean, long end meaning this market going up. Because without the debt market being stable, I mean, this is just it. It's just over. It's just over. You understand? We have this absolute, I mean, there's no connection at all between the economy and the market. The stock market appears to be in la-la land, beyond la-la land, somewhere beyond la-la land. All right. The global economy continues to contract at its fastest pace in history. We have a situation here. As a matter of fact, let's talk about that. So this is some of the economic news that we got today. So U.S. consumer debt defaults continue to rise at their fastest pace in history. Not only is U.S. consumer debt defaults rising at their fastest pace ever, credit card debt, again, people continue to swipe and swipe and swipe just to make ends meet here. This is the phenomenon that you and I realized would happen from probably years ago, all right? How prior members of the middle class were going to try to maintain the illusion of the middle class lifestyle by burying themselves in debt. So credit card debt has now hit another record high. Meanwhile, debt defaults, consumer defaults, are at a record high as well. It's so interesting. Don't you remember a month or two ago with what they were doing, these credit card companies? They were giving people increases in their credit lines, realizing this was going to happen, okay? In a mechanism here, obviously, to create more slaves to the system, to create higher debt burdens on people. It's not going to stop. This entire thing is so twisted right now. Let me ask you all on that topic. Does it bother you at all? I know there are people that are for the war over in Russia, Ukraine, and people that are against it. Wherever you stand is your own business. But does it bother you, and this is the question of the morning, that Zelensky knew before the American people that he was going to get another $500 million in another weapons package? And another one is coming, and another one after that, and another one after that. And of course, we, the American people, are the last to know. Does that bother you at all? Because I'll tell you something, it bothers me. Where does it say anywhere that a sitting U.S. president is given a blank check to fund any war? Actually, it doesn't sit anywhere. But again, this is the mechanism. Who funds all this? This new $500 million weapons package on the back of the $1.5 billion weapons package that we just sent over there. And I covered how that would not be the last as well. Where's this cash come from? Again, we don't have it. Again, no nation on this earth. There is not a single developed nation on this earth, or any nation anywhere for that matter, okay, that has a war chest somewhere that they say, okay, we're going to stash cash over here for the future wars that are going to come up. We don't have it, okay? The United States is the most indebted nation in the world. There's no one that even comes close to it. The largest debtor nation, the laughing stock of the planet, is the United States, okay? Now, where does the cash come from, this new weapons package, to pay for it? It comes directly from the Federal Reserve. This is the off-balance sheet stuff that I've been telling you about since time immemorial. Again, there's the public balance sheet you're allowed to see. Go right to the Federal Reserve's website and you can see exactly what's on their balance sheet, and they're trying to tell you it's dropping. But the off-balance sheet, no one is allowed to see. All the cash that central banks, the Fed, is funneling around the world to fund wars and everything else you can think about. And then some. Again, we have no oversight here. The Federal Reserve is the government. Mummified presidents and everything else notwithstanding, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter who they put behind the Resolute desk. Your vote does not count anymore. This is not the United States of America. This is the United States of corporate America with an agenda to, again, fulfill the endgame of central banks, Federal Reserve, the military-industrial complex. That's it. The rest of it, again, we're watching the phenomenon play out exactly how you and I would have imagined and did talk about it would. The middle class being crushed, pushed to the lower rung of society, slaves to the system, dependency on the system here, while the 1% and 2%ers couldn't possibly be happier with what's happening. You understand? This is what we have. And without divine intervention, which ain't coming anytime soon, for those of you that are probably going to go pray today, it ain't coming, okay, anytime soon. So just prepare yourself, okay, for what's about to occur and get worse as we move forward here. With regard to this market, as I said, you got the MMRI over 250, 251. Stock futures lower right now. You got gold and silver aren't doing too much right now. Relatively flat. Crypto's relatively flat. Crude oil catching a bit. Imagine my shock here. 10-year yield higher. Relative strength of the dollar higher as well. That's where we stand here, people. But again, let me push this point home here. If action is not taken to stabilize the debt market and we start seeing MMRI 255, 260, 270, the stock market is not going to like it at all, okay? So this is why I am saying we may need to start lessening our exposure here to the long end of the market unless action is taken. And we're going to see this in real time. If, like I said earlier, if we start to see today the MMRI drop 10 points, which is possible, 15 points today, then the stock market is going to get all giddy, spray its shorts all over the place. And it's, then the mechanism is what it is. But you and I, again, I believe this with everything I got. I put an enormous amount of thought into the equation of the MMRI. You understand? And I think, in my view, and I believe most of you would agree, it is probably the best risk indicator that has ever been created for the market because it looks at the drivers. You understand? And that's what really matters here. So let's just raise our awareness. We're not going to panic. We never rattle, okay? We're going to continue to do what we do. Bet against the debt. Become our own central bank. Hoarding hard assets. There's nothing wrong with looking at a commodities-based ETF. I talk about this all the time. I put out at least 2, maybe even 3 newsletters free to everybody. Again, link in the description of this video, covering exchange-traded funds that gives you exposure to commodities here. And the easiest way to expose yourself to the most undervalued in the world is this. I'm going to show it to you right here. Okay, and you can have it delivered right to your freaking front door. Anyway, people, that's where we stand today. And I want to hear, look, the question of the day was, do you feel slighted at all that Zelensky knew about the weapons package even before the American people did? And let me tell you something else that you don't know. There's another one coming. Bigger, much bigger. There's another one coming after that, much bigger. Where's all the cash come from? Right out of the Federal Reserve. You have no say-so in this at all, whether you support the war or you don't. The United States is becoming absolutely bankrupt, worse than ever. Every developed nation, again, this debt-based economic model demands that happens in greater and greater amounts. It cannot ever stop, okay? Any reason, wars, expansion of wars, warp speed vaccines, and whatever else they want to throw at us must be instituted to pull cash into the now to support the debt-based economic model, because without that, we go right back into Mad Max, which are going anyway. But now they get to choose when that happens. You see, you and I and everybody else, we're always the last to know. You understand? But again, you and I, we're raising our awareness. We're paying attention to what's going on, and we're doing something about it. Remember, we are the resistance. Not only are we the resistance, but we're getting together with like-minded people. Why do you think, for example, I set up the chat room free, 100% free to everybody on my website. People can interact there. This blog here, I want people to interact with each other. My free newsletter, also another place where people can interact. We need each other. When I tell you every Friday to love each other, care about each other, and be charitable, believe what I'm telling you. That's all we got. You understand? Because this whole thing is a setup to the biggest meltdown of the financial system that has ever been seen, thought about in the history of the world. Central banks are deliberately pushing the world off of the financial cliff, continuing to inflate at an unbelievable pace. Meanwhile, they expand war. War, and more war is where we are going moving forward here. Okay, that's it. And a lot more debt, currency devaluation. You know all this because we cover it every freaking day. You understand? All right, people, look, this is kind of a long video. I'm going to end it here. I could keep going on and on, but I will see you later, okay? After the market, about 1:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm sorry, Pacific Standard Time. It's too early over here. 1:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to do a live stream here, okay? I want you to have questions for me. I don't care what you want to ask me. It's fine, okay? Just anything. Let's just get together on this. We gotta come together, and whatever you want to ask, let's get it out there. All right, let's talk about these things. What can we do? Because look, people, look, we're on the losing end of this, in case you haven't noticed here. Yes, we can protect ourselves from a financial standpoint. There is a natural selection going on here, okay? And the world population moving forward, in case you don't know already, is going to be vastly lower than it is. Not too far off here. I want you to be ready for that too. A culling on a biblical level is coming. There is no escaping it. This is exactly what you and I would have expected. We know where we're going with this, and it's all deliberate. Everything you're seeing is deliberate. Nothing is by accident, okay? Everything is going exactly to the plan of the world central banks, who collectively do coordinate with each other, driving the global economy into the ground, crushing by design the middle class, whoever's left of it here in the United States and around the world. And this is about to get very real. So I want you to be ready for it. All right, look, I'll see all of you later. I love you all. That's the truth from the heart. Please comment. Please share the video. And I'll see you later at the live stream, okay?